Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we're going to be continuing the most popular What If on this channel. What if Goku remembered the Saiyans? If you missed the first two parts, or need a refresher, click the link up above to check them out. We begin with Riots and Vegeta, landing back on Earth. Gine rushes over to greet everybody, only to find Riots and... Ginyu? What happened here? Vegeta tells her it's him, and they badly underestimated Frieza, as these two are the only survivors. Gine can't handle the news that her husband and her son are dead. They were only just reunited. How could this happen? Riots tries his best to comfort his mother, but he feels her pain and can't help but cry too. Suddenly, a voice speaks into their heads. It's Bardock. Bardock tells them that he and Kakarot were given permission to get new bodies and are able to train in the afterlife. So they're both currently training under King Kai to get even more powerful. In a year, hopefully, they can use the Dragon Balls to be able to revive the two of them. Riots and Ginyu are ecstatic that Bardock and Kakarot are okay, even though they're dead, and they will get the Dragon Balls all set up for their revival in a year. Three return to the lookout and tell Kami what Bardock told them, and what exactly happened against Frieza. Vegeta says that they should gather the Dragon Balls now to restore him to his original body, and then use them again in a year to bring Bardock and Kakarot back. Kami then states that they would be able to restore Kakarot to life, but not Bardock. Bardock has been brought back to life by the Dragon Balls before, and they can't bring him back again. Riots curses Kami for setting such a limitation on the Dragon Balls, but Kami says that there's a way he can fix that. All he has to do is train himself up, become more powerful, and the Dragon Balls will be upgraded. So, he asks if he can train with Riots and Vegeta to allow this. The two would of course say yes, since the Dragon Balls need to be upgraded, but Gine steps in too. She says she's not exactly a fighter, but she feels like she has to help now, to avenge her husband and son. Riots would be excited to train with his mother, and Kami says he can teach her the basics, while the other two Saiyans go quickly gather the Dragon Balls. Kami and Gine head into the hyperbolic time chamber, while Riots and Vegeta head over to Capsule Corp to get the radar from Bulma. Bulma is disgusted by Vegeta's new appearance, but he yells at her and says that that's what they're gathering the Dragon Balls for. The two get their radar and go off, and they find some weird army guys that are attempting to take the Dragon Balls for themselves. But one look at Vegeta's scary face is enough to get them to back off. The two easily get the Dragon Balls, with the final two being at the army's base, and I think it's funny that these humans think they can hurt them with simple gunfire. Riots and Vegeta laugh that they've dealt with way worse than them, and easily destroy the Red Ribbon base and get the Dragon Balls. The two return to the lookout and wish for Vegeta to have his original body back, and I'm pretty sure Shenron could grant this easily, and Vegeta has returned. After training for the rest of the day on the outside, Kami and Gine emerge, with Gine showing significant improvements in strength and technique. Now, Riots and Vegeta have to make their final time chamber visit, since this is the last time that they can use it, and they need to give it their all, so they can access Super Saiyan just like Bardock did. Kami says he's going along with them to get some training done, and even though Gine just left, she says she's going back in too, to see if she can get this Super Saiyan form that Bardock apparently achieved. Bulma sends up extra food in a capsule for everybody, so they can eat away to their heart's content, and the group go inside to train. Meanwhile on King Kai's planet, King Kai has taught them his fighting style, and has successfully managed to teach the two to Spirit Bomb, but he decided against the Kaioken, since this Super Saiyan transformation has way more power anyways. Bardock was able to gain access to the form again in no time flat, and he began training in it with Kakarot, to see if Kakarot could get this transformation as well. And as we know, Goku always learns stuff quickly, and being dead and not having to worry about body strain makes Super Saiyan training much easier. And when Bardock tries to awaken it with rage by telling Kakarot he failed by letting his guard down as Frieza, and almost everybody died because of it, this works, and Kakarot screams at him to shut up as he transforms into a Super Saiyan and rushes himself at Bardock. Bardock is easily able to stop Kakarot, but expresses how proud he is and apologizes about what he said. Kakarot and Bardock train together in Super Saiyan, and are extremely powerful now, way above what Final Form Frieza was. However, this is exactly what they thought last time, that they were stronger, but they were still far too weak. So Bardock tries to come up with an idea. What if he was able to combine the Wrathful form with the Super Saiyan transformation? This could give him the edge in power significantly. He asks King Kai if it could be possible, and King Kai says it very well may be, and now would be the best time to try it, since he's already dead, so what's the worst that could happen? Kakarot sits back to watch as Bardock begins powering up, first into the Wrathful form, then Bardock tries to turn Super Saiyan. There's something off about it, however. His hair doesn't turn gold, it stays black, just grows longer. Red hair begins growing around his body and around his eyes. His tail turns red too, and his power is increasing at a rate immeasurable. Then suddenly, the transformation stops, and Bardock collapses back to normal, exhausted. King Kai jokes that, well, apparently it can be done, but Bardock is still too weak to be able to harness his strange new power. If he trained a lot more, then maybe, but when he gets revived, it'll be even harder since he'll feel way more strain. This is good motivation for Bardock now, since there's only a few months left until they revive, so he's going to try his hardest and be able to use this form. Back on Earth, Riots was able to harness all of the anger and sadness he suffered back on Frieza's capital into the fuel he needed to become a Super Saiyan. This is the first time anybody else has seen the form, and Vegeta would of course be extremely ticked off that now 2 low-class Saiyan warriors got access to this transformation before him. Vegeta would train himself harder than ever, and since he can't seem to get it, he explodes in rage at himself for being too weak. And this is just the trigger Vegeta needed to get the form. With 2 Super Saiyans training together now, they are both able to increase their power to being exactly on par with final form Frieza. Kami has increased his power training with the 2 Saiyans as well, and he is now around the level of 20,000, with Gine being not too far behind at 15,000. Gine has also learned the Wrathful form, and she is able to increase her power to 150,000. Once the group leave the time chamber, they decide to continue training intensely for the next year or so until the Dragon Balls are restored. In space, Frieza's scouts have tracked down more and more spy Saiyans, and no matter how much they torture them, the Saiyans are giving away where the others are, so Frieza executes them for being a waste of time. There are 2 Saiyans brought to him though, that hold his attention, Paragus and his son, Broly. These 2 were apparently exiled to a far-off world years ago, and hold great resentment towards King Vegeta. Frieza sees this as an opportunity, that if he can send these 2 out to find the Saiyans would take them in, and they could report their whereabouts back to Frieza. So he allows Paragus to make a distress call, asking for help in returning to the Saiyans' base. Surprisingly, a group of Saiyans do show up, since they don't want anybody squealing on their whereabouts just in case. So they pick up Paragus and Broly, and go return them to their new planet. Frieza laughs, as the Saiyans didn't notice them whatsoever, and he goes to follow Paragus to eradicate the Saiyan race, once and for all. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and stick around for the next one. So, until we meet again guys, see you later!